Good morning, Patriot family. Happy Monday. Has everybody enjoyed their FAFO weekend?
This is the president that doesn't sleep.
Clearly.
I mean, in order to keep up, we're like, well, I guess put another pot of coffee on.
Where's the Adderall? No, I do not recommend. I'm not a doctor.
Nor do I play one on television.
I could. Yeah, a lot of people, never mind. Hey, everybody, happy MAGA FAFO Monday, I guess. It's wild.
So much to talk about, and as we're going through and building the agenda over the weekend, I'm like, how are we not going to just talk all about what's happening internationally? And I think part of what we're going to bring into our show, guys, in the second hour is some of what you're not hearing because it's not making its way to mainstream media is, the fact that Bill Clinton he was deposed, and we want to get some feedback on that and hear from Slick Willie himself, apparently, which would look like an ISIS hostage video. I was like, where's the marketing team?
Apparently, they're lacking. But you can always call Allie and Michelle.
I'd be happy to interview you.
For sure.
Allie, so much to talk about today with what's happening in Iran. If you woke up today with kind of a heavy heart, and I think these things are very spiritual. We can feel what the country and what the globe is going through. I think that's part of our Christ-like heart is to feel that. So if you're feeling heavy and kind of a little overwhelmed, I'm glad you tuned in because we're going to dissect everything, talk us through some of the talking points, Allie, and I guess see where that goes, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go. Let's open that mic.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us? Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of MAGAville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat. Keep it on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays on.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Open Mic with Allie.
That's because we were doing Turning Point last night. So you're still in Turning Point phase. Thanks for joining Turning Point. We're like, wait, what? Wrong thing. I don't know if you guys can see my shirt today, but I'm wearing Department of War Reestablished 2025 because, I'm definitely in a FAFO mode. The urge in me to want to just, my son called me the other night and was like, Mom, I'm thinking about joining. He's like, I'm thinking about enlisting. I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
I love that you're like that because it's scary too. It
is. Yeah. It is. And as a veteran, my ex-husband, his dad is a veteran as well. And we come from a line of veterans. And so I'm like, why would I deter my son from continuing that line of service in our family? It shapes you. It builds you. And right now we have children, boys and girls, who want adventure. They want to explore who they are. They want to get to know their limits. And it's in a lot of the new shows that are coming out on Paramount and things like this. And so I'm excited to see that he wants to do something like that. And under anybody else, I would be very hesitant. But under President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and our commander, Raising Cane, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. When do you sign up? I'm excited.
Like, what do I need to do to re-enlist? What do I need?
That part. I'm this close.
I'm
this close.
I'm like, Allie.
But I'm probably the wrong person to be behind a weapon right now. I'm just going to say.
No restraint.
Totally kidding.
Well, Allie, we said goodbye to our audience on Friday, and then both of us, I think, you had your kids with you, so you guys were trying. You try to kind of tune out for just a little bit. At least that's what I do on Friday.
After tried.
Friday, yeah,
but Friday it's hard.
I'm checking out. I went and had some fun, just letting my hair down a little bit, and then got home, felt a little like, okay, I cleansed the palate, right? We're not all about news all the time. And then my head hit the pillow and it was like, ding, 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 the phone. I'm like,
all over the place. I was like, I literally just fell asleep. It was like 2 a.m. and I'm like getting all these phone calls and all this stuff hitting the news. And I'm like, wow.
So we raise up out of the bed, like, what? Pry open and I'm like, and this man, the commander in chief, all like still in like his suit. I'm like, what are they, sir, what is your recipe? Because
80 years old, 80. I want to be like Trump at 80 years old.
No more be like Mike. It's be like Trump.
I want to be like
Take
Trump.
a listen to a portion of what the president said Friday, early morning hours, Saturday. Take a listen.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes.
We can bring it back, David.
It's been mass terror, and we're not going to
play with that anymore. Mass terror. And listen, it's important because lots of times we get young people, whether you're in college or high school and you're hearing this news and you're like, wait a second, this seems extremely unprovoked. When, we knew that they were messing with their, that we were messing. Uh-oh. Gremlins in the studio.
Grimsley, what are you doing? This is serious business right now, sir.
Grimsley.
It's all good. It's all good. No worries. It makes us. So I had somebody. I've had a couple conversations with some folks, and I've had someone go, Allie, talking to you is like reminds me of being deployed. I was like, what? I didn't know how to take that. And they're like, it's like RPG Alley. Like, you don't know what you're gonna get hit with. Is it gonna like hurt my feelings? Am I gonna be offended? Are we gonna like cry? Are you gonna cry? Like, are we gonna fight? Like, what's happening? And then I got somebody else who was like, it's a bag. You never know what you're gonna pull out of the bag.
You never know what you're gonna get. Like, well, and people really get nervous when they say that, when you show up to an event, it's like rapid fire. It's like machine gun style,
yes.
With some of the facts. And that's kind of largely what's made us welcome in some rooms and not.
But I think what just happened, I think that keeps everybody engaged. So it's good. Good stuff. I'm glad.
The music was very swanky.
It was. So what I'm hearing from President Trump is that we ended the war with Iran over 47 years. A 47-year war. And think about this. 47 ended a 47-year war. That's not ironic, right?
That's not
coincidence, right?
But it's important to know the history of what's taken place in Iran because, and this is what what I love about the right, what I love about Republicans and conservatives and mostly America First, what I love is that we don't just unilaterally just jump in line behind a leader, whether it be Trump or anybody else. There's always those that want to ask the philosophic questions, those that want to ask the big questions, and they want answers. And I love that. But when people are knocking President Trump for this action in Iran, you're not getting the full story. We have to remember that recently where are all the human rights activists? All the women's liberation activists. What Iran has been doing in recent months, especially because there's been an uprising, an organic uprising. Listen, I'm all for not having, I understand like regime change. I'm not for that. But when it's an organic uprising, Trump stood up as the leader of the free world and said, don't slaughter your own people like this. Like we're not doing this. And he's given the Ayatollah and the leadership there in Iran so much grace and freedom to be able to come to the table and do the right thing. The problem is that no other leader of the free world has ever done that to Iran. So it's like a child that's not been disciplined. You have, we'll get to this later, but you have Barack Obama sending them pallets of cash. You've got imaginary red lines in the sand from other Republican elected, presidents. So they think there's no urgency for them to do an about face and right their ship. There is no urgency. I thought that the Operation Midnight Hammer might have.
You would think, right? You would think. But it's again, like you said, when you don't ever discipline someone in a way that they understand, because they only understand strength.
Yeah.
And you would think that the first time we struck, it would have been like, all right, cool. We're not going to mess with you no more. But no. And then President Trump also said that to the Iranian people, now is your time to take over your government. You're not going to have another opportunity. It may not ever come again.
They haven't had this since 1979, and we'll get to that in a minute. What Ali alluded to, 47th president not starting a war, ending a 47-year war. Take a look at this graphic. I love this. This was put out by Stealth Medical. It's one of the accounts that we follow. Goes everywhere from 1979. You look at what's taken place from the Islamic Revolution, from the revolution that took place in Iran. Remember, up till then, they they were mostly just Persian-led. It was a part of their, they had a vibrant society, much like we do. The leaders of their nation really pulled for a strong Western-influenced economy, school system, culture, freedom. Women there are beautiful. Their colleges were very successful. Mm-hmm. Then you have the rise of the Islamic Revolution. And ever since communists linked hands with Islamists, you've had nothing but crap coming out of Iran. And look at what it's done to America. How long are you willing to stand there, America, and say, we've got grace. We're looking the other way. This isn't America first. This isn't in our best interest. How long do you turn the other cheek for? Because there is a time of war. There is a time for war, and there's a time to end war. And there's that time I don't know when we see this kind of strong leadership before that really is like my yeses are yes and my no's are no's. You look at 1983, Beirut bombing. You look at the Iraq war. They've been a proxy for Hamas and other terrorist organizations. And at what point do we say enough?
Enough is enough.
At what point is these little SWAT on the bottom?
Right, but you know what? You know what else is? There's a difference between strategic air assault and boots on the ground.
And a ground invasion for weapons of mass destruction that we did not find?
Right. You know what they found? They found pipes to build oil for oil. That's what they found. You can ask all kinds of veterans right now that are no longer serving who served in OIF and OEF. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback. I'm having some moments like, so, and this whole thing has been kind of triggering for me because like I am reveling in the fact that we have a president who stands 10 toes down on my word is my word. And they also were a part of trying to assassinate him, which we know.
He left orders.
Right.
To be assassinated. He's got orders being left, kind of like a will of testament.
Right.
Because he's very well aware.
But that's what I'm saying is like they were a part of him trying to be assassinated. So him not even try, and that's not even why he did this, right? He did this for many reasons, but obviously the main reason is they had intel. He didn't just wake up one morning and was like, we're going to bomb this shit out of Iran. Like, that's not how he did that. You know what I'm saying? Like it requires intel. And so
Yeah.
while I'm here in reverence of that, understanding the weight that he's under to make that decision, and then finding out that yes, we are going to have some casualties. We've lost about 4 in Tampa that were here in Tampa. Not here in Tampa, but stationed.
They're from Tampa.
Right, from Tampa. And so I'm feeling those feelings too, because I've buried friends and I've buried family. And it's heavy. It's heavy. But this is also, I don't want people to sit there and think that the families of our military service members and that our military service members are weak-minded. They know exactly what they're signing up for. They know exactly what they're signing up for. And I'm going to just remind y'all of a couple quotes. I know we're kind of running a little long here. Give me 1 second.
No, it's okay, Allie.
So there's one
Good part.
that says this embodies, these couple quotes I'm going to say to y'all embodies what our military members, what they're thinking and how their family members feel. Okay. I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my nation. Nathan Hall. To be prepared for war is one of the most effectual means of preserving peace. George Washington. Issue the orders, sir, and I will storm the gates of hell. Anthony Wayne to Washington. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. That's literally what is happening. And then you look and you see what's going on across the world. You have Brazil rising up, calling for their president to resign.
Cuba's
you have
like,
Cuba
hey.
rising up, literally begging president to bomb Cuba. Like, seriously, are you for real right now? And it's not just those 2 countries. It's other countries as well. And then I'm going to leave y'all with this one. Patrick Henry. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. That is the resolve of our military. That is the resolve of their family members, because they understand that their call to serve our nation that's what is at stake. When we say that liberty and sovereignty is not free, it requires a very significant level of sacrifice, your money, time, and your life, sometimes all 3. That's exactly what we mean. So don't feel bad. Give them respect and give them your prayers, but don't you dare feel bad and make them feel like they're a victim. They're not victims, they're victors.
Allie, that's something that only you could have said so eloquently, and I think it speaks to the heavy hearts. I know when I reshared our link to this morning, it's like if you have a heavy heart because of what you're seeing and what you're witnessing and all the strife that's involved in this, tune in today, because I didn't even know that you were going to come prepared with that. But I think there are military families everywhere that would say amen to that, Allie. We have to put it in perspective. And the way that we honor them really is the proper way to talk about it and the proper way to hold them in reverence. And that's something we have to bring back to this country. I think Trump's, with all of us that voted him in, are
and
on
then,
board
so
with that.
before we get on, I want to play this one thing real quick because it'll kind of cleanse the palate a little bit. So if David, you could just play this real fast for us.
Arthur, get out of the tank.
You're not my daddy.
Get out of the fucking tank. I am your dad.
You're not my dad.
I am your dad. Get out of the fucking
I'm in a tank and you're not.
I will call
I'm
Major
literally
Middleton.
in
Get
a
out of the fucking tank.
I'm literally in a tank. You're
Get
not.
out of the
You're not my dad.
Literally get out of the tank.
Tell Major Middleton. I don't give a fuck.
Get out of the fucking tank.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I saw that and I was just like, oh my gosh, yep, that's it. That's exactly it. Can't pass the damn Save America Act because you wheeling around McConnell, but you're going to be mad because he didn't call every single member of Congress. He literally called everybody he needed to call to be aware of what was happening, and they all signed off on it. So the fact that you were not in the know is not his problem.
No, and then let's face it, there are other presidents that have done the same thing to conduct these operations. Again, not getting into a 47 or 20-year war, Iraq, but doing this in Afghanistan, but doing this with those that needed to be in the know. Here's who was eliminated. Take a look. So we've got the IRGC commander, Mohammed Pakpour, and you've also got, I believe this is the head of Iran's defense minister. Now, there are others. This was, I think this was cut through the weekend, but there have been others that I know are also, it's like a deck of cards, those that were on a target list. So minimal civilian casualties until Iran turned their missiles on their own people. and then decided that they're going to fire off on everybody in the Middle
Everyone.
East.
There's like
So when
14
you've got-
countries.
When you've got Saudi Arabia and others going, really? Really? And they're coming to the defense of Israel, and they're coming to the defense of the U.S. You start to realize, guys, you have been lied to for a long time about what's been taking place in the Middle East. I'm not saying that I trust everybody in every country and everybody that's coming to our aid there right now.
No, but you know what? I trust President Trump, and I trust Pete Hegseth.
That part. Well, here is what President Trump had to say. Strong words. He's not mincing words. And you know what? I take a look at his face right there, and I think if he can do it, we can do it. Keep standing, guys. Keep pushing back. Keep fighting. He says, Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all the great Americans and those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. He is not mincing his words there, guys. I don't. This is not somebody that's sitting around rethinking his choices. He, by the time, made this decision with great intel, as Allie and I have said before, with great intel. He knew what needed to be done. Here's a quick response from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. This was taken over the weekend as well. He said overnight on President Trump's orders, the Department of War commenced Operation Epic Fury, the most lethal, most complex, and most precision aerial operation in history. Down at the bottom, he says, our warriors are the best in the world, and they are fully unleashed to achieve our objectives. May God's providence protect them in this vital mission. Amen, sir. Amen.
Well, and about an hour ago, he said, I mean, there's a couple clips that I'm looking at right now. About an hour ago, he said, it turns out the regime who chanted death to America was gifted death from America. Whew! I'm going to need that on a hat.
That's stronger than bench pressing 300, like he did in that other clip. You can bench press that statement.
Man, I am just, I am so proud to be an American and to have strength at the helm once again. Yeah. This is, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And again, this is what I've gotten throughout the weekend. And so I just, again, want to make, Allie and I really haven't even talked about our own personal views on this. We've just been gathering so much intel. But you have to understand, people are saying, you know, this is not what I voted for because I don't want endless wars. That is not what this is.
That's not what this is.
We were at war with Iran for so many decades. We funneled money to them. We gave money to them. We didn't provide the support behind the people in Iran when they were rising up the first time. Thank you, Barack Obama, for literally doing nothing. We've drawn red line in the sand after red line in the sand. We've done absolutely nothing but laid down and said, go ahead and walk over me as a country. And we're just
funded terrorist organizations that were killing our soldiers.
Our men and women. Yes.
We were funding terrorist organizations that were killing our soldiers while they were at war. Are y'all for real? This is why, again, we need to pass the Smith Modernization Repeal Act, okay? Because the media has been lying to you. They have not been telling you the truth about what has been going on overseas. So, of course, everybody's going to be up in arms. They're going to feel some kind of way. But you know what? Your feelings don't trump facts. And Trump right now is giving everybody his Trump card. And whether that's the middle finger or the Dorito in the sky, it depends on what thread you pull on.
Well, and since the attack, since Epic Fury, there have been threat levels increased throughout, obviously, the Middle East. Take a look at this.
And here in America, so maybe we should, I don't know, senators and House representatives fund DHS.
What the hell? Exactly. So level 4, obviously, Iraq, Iran, Lebanon, they're saying don't travel to. You can see some of the other, reconsider your travel. Unfortunately, we do have bases in those areas, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. Kuwait, Pakistan, Qatar. Then you've got exercise caution. Of course, Saudi Arabia is included in that. But Allie, there were reports. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit here, but there were reports. Like you said, there were 4 servicemen now, men and women that were killed
in action.
There's been multiple attacks on different bases of ours throughout the Middle East. That's one of the things that provoked Saudi Arabia to get involved, because they attacked one of our bases, and Saudi Arabia is going, It's like, and I heard somebody, of course, through an interpreter talking, a leader in Saudi Arabia, saying that Iran's been like this flea in the Middle East that gives everybody in the Middle East a bad name. I'm not saying everybody in Saudi Arabia is, all the leadership is on the up and up. I'm just saying that they've been considered this flea in the Middle East because of their leadership. And what you have to understand, first I want to make sure. Let's see. I want to go. Yeah, we can go ahead and go to the price that we pay. David, let's go ahead and show. This is the report from Nancy Mace. Of course, this was last night before we found out there's a fourth member that has succumbed to their injuries. Nancy Mace saying 3 American heroes were killed during Operation Epic Fury, 5 more seriously wounded. So that, and this is a headline from Fox News. Taking a look there, again, there are 5 others that are wounded. We just found out that 1 more succumbed to their injuries. At least I got that word this morning. So, Allie, your timing on giving us the proper perspective through the lens of a...
Don't make them victims. They're not victims. They're not victims. Don't do that. You diminish what their fight was. You diminish that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I've buried friends. I've buried my sister. Don't do that.
Yeah. Allie, it's hard not to have a heavy heart knowing what's happening and knowing what people are going through in the Middle East, what the people of Iran are going through, because we are very spoiled in this country and in this
First
culture.
world problems.
I love what we live. What I love our lives that we get to live, but it's there's so much more at risk when you're when you're a woman in Iran. And I think about our Iranian sisters, even our sisters in Christ. They did not ask for this prior to 1979. You guys have to understand the reason why we scream from the hilltops about the jeopardy in this country with the communist left marrying Islamists is that is exactly what toppled Iran in 1979. Yep. And they've been living in hell ever since then. Allie, take a look real quick. This is a little report about Saudi Arabia joining the U.S. In their military operation against Iran. Take a listen.
What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan, they are now likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation. That is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, I'm told, the IRGC, significant facilities.
Yep. And it's all intelligence-based. They're not going in there like just shooting at anything.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're after, and they're going after it, and it's successful. And the fact that we have other Arab nations that are coming into assist with this mission
to link
is quite
arms with
incredible.
Israel? Are you serious?
It's incredible.
A common enemy. It's amazing what a common enemy will do and how it will unite people.
The enemy. The enemy is how does it say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you think the mob stayed alive for so long?
There is no such thing as the mob.
No. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Guys, did you know that there were 3 Democrats that are on our side with this? 3.
One being Fetterman, who's making a lot of sense.
He is. So you have Fetterman, who said Trump steps up to do tough stuff needed for true peace. That's Fetterman out of Pennsylvania. And then you have Representative Ron Davis out of North Carolina, who said Trump has been willing to do what's right and necessary. And then you have Representative Greg Landsman from Ohio, and he says the U.S. is destroying Iran's missiles and bombs to stop them from taking more lives.
Can we like fantasy football league them, and can we like trade a McConnell for one of them?
Can we? Well, that would be Senator.
If somebody created a political fantasy football or fantasy league.
Ooh. You and I, let's go, let's do it.
Okay, not somebody, the ladies.
We're going to do it because nobody's going to do it right, and we're going to like want to take it over and control it anyway, so we might as well just do it. David!
He's in there going, no.
He's like, if these ladies have one more dang idea. No.
Love you, David. Well, take a look, a little collage. What?
He said he doesn't mind.
He's all about it. It's like we thought Allie and I share one brain, but you get David in the mix, and we literally all share a brain. I love it. Take a look at this collage of the response across the globe. Take a look at the joy that people are feeling. Going around the globe. Germany, Britain, Australia, Canada, Switzerland, France. That's not even including
DC
Cuba.
was on fire. DC was lit.
Yeah. And so much so that the CBS reporter was talking about the extreme emotion and how everybody was chanting and loving Trump for what he's done, all the Iranian people here in the United States. And he got a text message that said, basically, cut it out. Stop delivering that message. And he was on camera. He said, you know what? I don't care what they tell me. I'm reporting what's happening. Woo! You're not going to have a job tomorrow, sir.
But you know what? He'll have a job. He'll figure it out. Men, look, where there's a will, there's a way. Don't ever let anybody tell you any different, especially for men. If they want to, they will.
T-shirt.
Capacity my ass. Anyway, moving on.
Let's let that sit there for a minute. Think about what you've done. All right, so
I think that's what's happening with Iran. We're gonna tap you on the bottom and go sit in the corner. Let's think about what you've done.
Go put the
no, it's good. They can't even think about what they've done. They're all dead.
Well, what is it that they believe when they're dead? So whatever, we just sent them there early.
It doesn't even matter.
This is what took place in Iran moments after the reports of that their unelected tyrants that governed over them, that they were long gone. Take a look at what the Iranians did. Take a look.
That is incredible.
Bring it back.
But you know what?
That is them tearing down the statue of the now deceased Ayatollah Khamenei.
You know what this is going to require, though? This is going to require strong men. For them to continue to have, or for them to even attempt a new free government, they're going to need to have strong men who are willing to stand up. They've been emasculated for so long, right? Because you've had toxic leadership in power. Weak leadership is heavy-handed, right? Strong leadership looks like President Trump. So they're going to need to have someone that understands principle, morals, and will stand behind his word and not live in ambiguity. Okay? So it's going to require them to find their fortitude, their own gut fortitude, their spinal fortitude, to stand on something and not allow their women and children to be abused, to stand in the way for any man that does want to do that to their children or their women.
Absolutely, Allie.
It's going to require some strength.
This is something that we're going to get into a little heavier in the second half of our show, because it's important that people understand one of the things this does by bringing the Middle East back into our news cycle. Hopefully, if you're listening to any kind of reputable, and by reputable, I don't mean mainstream like three-letter media agencies. I mean reputable in that they talk about the real things and the real issues. Hopefully, they're educating you, or you're educating each other in a dialogue on what's taken place in Iran. You have to understand that their Persian culture did not ask for this. They did not ask for this leadership prior to the 1979 Islamic Revolution, where, again, communists and Islam linked arms to topple what was once a peaceful Iran. Prior to that, Jews lived in Iran. They had a heavy Christian population, and they were thriving. What is that? Is there another country on the globe that reminds you of that now is seeing an issue with extreme Islamists infiltrating into their country, wanting to force Sharia law?
Actually.
This is what Allie's referring to. What is going to stop that extremism from coming back into Iran? Because when I saw them topple that statue, as happy as I was for them, I got a flashback to Saddam Hussein and to Iraq and to them pulling down Saddam Hussein. Well, you know what happens to a population that's been, or anybody that's been abused for so long, and that's what they know?
You go back to it.
They still need electric. They still need water. They still need medical care. And in Iraq, the people that came in to provide that was ISIS. And we actually saw darker times ahead of Iraq, in Iraq, because of it. And so that's my only caution here. If I had Trump's ear for 2 seconds, which I'm sure he's got a plan, is do you have a plan, sir? Because you can't just leave this land, and not that we should have a part in who they appoint or who's the leader. I hope there's a plan beyond this, because while they're celebrating, we should learn from history that there are those that seek to do harm, that will promise all the goods. They'll tickle your ears, right? But they're not. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And we got to pray for Iran.
I agree with you 100%. All right, you guys, we're about to are you ready? You want to take a break?
Yes, let's go.
Can we do that? All right, y'all, we're going to take a short break here. You'll get to hear a word from Liberty Cigars. Make sure you go to libertycigars.com. Use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order. Their website is a little down right now, so if you need to order something, you can go to orders at libertycigars.com and place your order that way. They are very, very, very responsive. We have a lot of great things that are coming out with Liberty Cigars here pretty soon, so make sure you go. Let's check out this commercial. We'll be right back. From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. Thank you to our Talk Red family. We're so grateful that you guys have joined us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Open Mic. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Allie, I did catch a really great little clip here that's from Instagram. I want you guys to, I know David's clipped it, take a listen to this woman as they're just talking about the history of Iran as we are. Take a listen to help you understand a little better.
Again, Iranians are not Arab Islamists. They're Iranians. They've always been Iranians. They have occupied by a regime that is not their own, by a regime that is not speaking their language, by a regime, and let's make that very, very clear, because sometimes it's like hard for us to understand what happened inside of Iran. The Islamist Ayatollahs came to our country, and the first thing that they did, they took our flag, our flag, the Iranian flag, has a lion and a sun on it, and it's like green, red, and white. And they started to write on it with Arabic writing, which is not Persian. It's not our language on there. They took out our symbol of the lion and the sun and replaced it with an Allahu Akbar Islamic symbol in the middle. Just imagine Islam is taking over Washington, taking the American flag, taking our flag, keeping the colors in there and putting an Islamist symbol on it and an Arabic writing on it. Would you think that's our flag? Would you think, oh, this is the government of America now? You would be like, this is an Arab Islamist jihadist occupation. They took down our flag. Then they started to replace everything that's Iranian, our ministries, our churches, our synagogues, our Jewish community. We had the biggest Jewish community inside of the Middle East, outside of Israel. They wiped them out. They wiped out our Christians, our Zoroastrians. They forced people to convert to Islam. They changed our language in our schools. They started teaching Arabic. Our national anthem, they replaced the national anthem with some weird anthem that no Iranian can even identify with, because every other word of it is Islamic.
It's an infiltration from the inside. And notice they went for the people of faith, and they went for the schools.
Yep. Same thing communists do.
But if you have to be able to see, and I don't say this out of fear, I say this as a call to be alert, and mostly to the men in our society, because men who want to dominate women in this way that they do through Islam, that can only happen if our American men, our Christian men, our Jewish men sit around and do nothing. Or if you're distracted with OnlyFans. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe there's something bigger and more important happening in our society. Allie, this is why I'm
keep
single,
my comments to myself.
And I'm all right with it.
I'm going to keep my comments to myself.
We had comments yesterday. That's my sister right there. I love you. Here's some more of the similarities. Again, just firsthand account, not me making this up. Take a listen.
I'm an Iranian Jew. My family escaped on the back of a pickup truck under gunfire in 1985, 1986, and made it, thank God, to this amazing country. In Iran, it started the same way. It started on the college campuses. It was the Islamists joining hands with the leftists. Same thing as it's happening here. And I want to give you a warning. When an activist on behalf of Iran was in my home, I asked her, when they came for the Jews, why did you say nothing? She said, when they came for the Jews, we said we are not Jewish, so why should we care? When they came for the Baha'is, they said we are not Baha'i, so why should we care? When they finally killed Massa, they said we are all Massa, and they began to care. So to all the Americans out there, the Iranian Jews who escaped our homeland to come here, want to give you a warning. It starts with the Jews, and it doesn't end with the Jews. You need to speak up. We need to take our country back and take it back to the Judeo-Christian values it was founded on. Because if we don't stop it in the tracks, look at what's happening to Europe. Look at what's happened many other places all over the world. The time is now to speak up, to protect our country, to protect the justice and the rights that you love and you appreciate in this country. The time is now.
These are beautiful Iranian women, both cases speaking up for their native land. And, again, the reason I play these, Allie, is because this isn't a spin from the Trump administration. This is not a MAGA spin. This is not an America First spin. This is reality, and this is history. And what do we say about history? Those that don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. Not on our watch and not on our land.
And it doesn't even repeat, it rhymes. It doesn't repeat, it rhymes. Guys, what she's experienced is what has been experienced in other nations for eons. Like, this is just how it happens. This is how communists take over. This is how dark regimes take over. It's just how it's done. And I think feminism, the feminist movement, that's harmful, right? Because it emasculates men and it keeps them docile, right? Turns them into soy boy latte drinkers. Not knocking y'all that drink lattes, but I mean, I love a man that drinks black coffee. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna drink your coffee, babe. I'll make it for you.
A man that can get up in the morning without coffee and is like, I'm hitting the gym.
Right, or that. I mean, yes, that. Look, dry scoop your pre-workout. Let's go. Oh Lord, I am on. Okay, so yes, but that's what happens. You break down the male instincts for protection and hunting and going after things like that. And you break them down to where they are docile, and then you're allowed to take over that way, because no country really wants to no regime really wants to fight masculine men.
You know what else happens when feminism's had, I mean, it is a double-edged sword. It's had two effects. It's made, as you said, men a little more docile, which then makes them not able to really pursue properly. Right. And we've had that conversation off camera, you and I. But it's also made women, I think, have to be very guarded. And that's, even though that's biblical for us to be guarded, it's not supposed to be that way in a relationship. Once there's that kind of connection and covenant. But it's so you can see that it's kind of played both ends. I want to listen, you guys, this is so beautiful. You're now seeing Iran burning, and I know that's an awful image, but take a look at Iran prior to that Islamic Revolution in 1979. Take a look, just a little clip.
Amazing. So I kind of want to just chime in real quick. Trump says today on Fox News, he said, Trump says they originally expected to take 4 weeks to take out Iranian leadership, but they were able to do it in one day. Why? Because the Iranian leadership was all at breakfast together. Intel agency saw that, and so we struck. When they met for breakfast. They didn't think we knew. It was amazing that we knew everything we knew. They died like a dog. I love it.
Well, and that was the report, is that Israel was like, Mr. President, I know that we were going to strike at such and such time, but they're all together. Two birds, one stone kind of thing, like that kind of thing. And to be on such standby that this says something about the strength and resolve of our government and our military under the direction of President Trump, and it's pretty amazing. I want to fast forward a little bit to the fallout of this, of what's taken place. This is Trump's message from the White House official. He said, Iran just stated that they're going to hit very hard today. This was yesterday, harder than they've ever hit before. They better not do that, however, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I think I saw an image of like one of the bombs, and it had like, thank you for your attention to this matter written on it. I know it was like AI generated and like totally not real, but I was like, if only. I mean, you got Zelensky signing bombs. Why can't we put thank you for your attention to this matter on one of the munitions?
In World War II, we put messages on the bombs. That was one of the fun things. So the UN got heated, obviously, because you have Mike Waltz, who's our ambassador to the UN, but you've got the ambassador from Iran, who's sitting in New York at the UN headquarters. And take a look at this little exchange.
Thank you. I have one word only. I advise to the representative of the United States to be polite. It will be better for yourself and the country you represented. Thank you.
The representative of
Pleasantries?
the United States is asked for the floor to make a further statement.
Frankly, I'm not going to dignify this with another response, especially as this representative sits here in this body representing a regime that has killed tens of thousands of its own people and imprisoned many more simply for wanting freedom from your tyranny. Thank you, Mr. President.
So he was much more eloquent than I would have been. You better be polite. What? You stone women to death, and you require another man as a witness to rape, not just the male. I mean, think about what polite. They've got the Ayatollah, who's now, with his maker. You've got the Ayatollah saying, equating women to camels, to cattle, to property. Be polite? I'll tell you where you can put your polite.
I'll shove your polite. How about let's just put you in a room with a bunch of women. How about we do that?
Can they be MAGA women?
Yes. How about it just be Iranian women that are fed up with their regime? Let's do that.
I'd put that on pay-per-view as a fundraiser for my campaign.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
moving on.
Well, and so I want to remind everybody, because you do have Barack Hussein Obama to thank for the continued escalation of what's taken place in Iran. You have Barack Hussein Obama to thank for the fact that he never continued a red line in the sand. He left Israel and many others out to dry. He really did nothing to help the Iranian people when they were rising up, many to the detriment of their own death, to say we want more, we want our freedom back. He did absolutely nothing, but he did do this. Take a look.
Obama left office, he sent $1.7 billion in cash to Iran. The money was delivered in actual cash, stacked on pallets and flown into the country. It happened in January 2016 when Obama authorized the transfer of the money to the nation known for sponsoring terrorism. The funds were allegedly part of a long-standing financial obligation stemming from a pre-1979 agreement. Prior to the Iranian Revolution, the United States had committed to supplying Iran with military equipment. However, following the revolution, the transaction was abandoned, leaving Iran to claim reimbursement for the...
Prior to 1979, prior to Iran becoming a communist Islamic country, sponsoring terror, prior to that, we had an agreement with them to help them with aid and with military help, supplies. Barack Hussein Obama, on the day he leaves office, goes back and writes a check. Oh, I'm sorry. Pallets of cash. When's the last time you've been able to take out pallets of cash at your financial institution? Think about that. Pallets of cash supplied, and he says it's because we since 1979, we haven't paid this out to them. Because the people, the government, the leadership that we originally made the agreement with was toppled.
Is no longer in power.
Listen, this is some shady stuff, which is why we have to understand why they stole the 2020 election and why they needed Joe Biden in office, because it wasn't an auto pen. It was Barack Hussein Obama 2.0.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are we dispositioning Clinton and his wife, but we're not dispositioning Barack Obama for this?
It's a very good question. Is it coming?
I get it. The Epstein stuff needs to come out.
I've heard echoes that it could be coming. Why didn't we depose both the Clintons on their role of what they didn't do with Iran?
Exactly.
I mean, listen, everybody says, I've seen all.
If we're going to talk about war crimes.
I have seen these posts about, we don't care about Iran, we don't care about this, show us the Epstein files. We don't, listen, both can happen at the same time. What do you mean you don't care about Iran? Well, we have to bring this to the American people. There was a mass casualty event, terrorist.
In 2 places, right?
Yeah, but the first place we'll show that we're not going to show the clip because it's horrendous. Do not Google it.
It's hard. Yeah.
In Austin, Texas, a bar. There was a terrorist that showed up. His sweatshirt, and we're not going to show his picture either, but it says "Property of Allah."
Yep.
His sweatshirt opened fire. They're saying that 2 were killed, 14 injured. I've seen the video, Allie. There is going to be a higher casualty count than just 2.
Yeah.
There was also another location, and I'm sorry, I don't have it pulled up here, where it had happened. I want to say it's in. I'm not going to say it because I'm probably going to get it wrong. Anyway, I say this to you guys because you do have to keep your head on the swivel. Any place that Americans gather and do what the West loves, which is enjoy life. I think about at this exact time that this was happening, I was enjoying myself in much the similar type of location. And this is where they want to try to hit Americans the hardest, because the freedom that you love, the faith that you love, the camaraderie that you love, they despise. And the fact that we won't submit a knee to it is why they want to hit us where we are most American. And so keep your head on the swivel, please. And I think our law enforcement's been escalated as well in this country.
Yes, I agree. I'm trying to find it and I can't figure out where.
If you find it, let me know. Let me know. So we've talked a lot about the Middle East and what's happening in Iran. Hopefully this helps our viewers to understand, as we needed to understand as well, what's at stake. What do the Iranians feel? What do other countries feel that are wanting this same type of liberation and freedom? We are not the police of the global of Earth, but we did have a vested interest. It is, in my opinion, America first to end a 47-year war where they have just run ramshot, not only here in this country but in the Middle East, and you can see that proof by other Middle Eastern countries now joining in to silence Iran and their totalitarian leadership. Can we pivot a little bit to Bill Clinton?
Sure.
Because I don't want to, again, we can do... I love you, David. I don't want to go without talking about this because Bill Clinton was deposed. English is not it's not happening with me today. We don't have
Mexicana showing.
Mexicana showing. Spanglish. It's Spanglish. We don't have the transcripts yet. We don't have video. But Bill Clinton felt the need to go on a marketing campaign. He does not look well. And it looks like an ISIS hostage video. But take a listen to a portion of what he had to say.
I just finished testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee. I did it for 2 reasons. First, I love my country, including our Constitution. And America was built on the idea that no person is above the law, even presidents, especially presidents, and that we should all live under the same set of rules. This kind of democracy requires every person to play their part. And I hope that by being there today, we can bring ourselves just a little further away from the brink and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and we can search for truth and justice, and that it outweighs the partisan urge to score points and create spectacle.
We can bring it back, David.
The second reason
This reminds me of.
He goes on to say, Jeffrey Epstein was not the person that you know him as when I was around him. That's BS. Look at the files. He's been with Jeffrey Epstein past the indictment that happened in Florida. That is, I mean, there are, his name and Hillary's name are still riddled in the Epstein files with dates far beyond that. But what I want you to understand is he's saying he did not do anything with any girls underage.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, my God, let's go ahead and play it. How did you know? Listen.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I.
Well, Mr. Slick Willie, her blue dress and your DNA that's disgusting on it said otherwise. Impeachment much? Lying under oath. I mean, this is the Clintons. But what the question is here going forward is what's going to come out of this. Nancy Mace said that she got the floor for a very long time to be able to ask a lot of questions. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but people need to understand this is not making its way to the headlines because of what's taken place in Iran. So make sure that you only get your news from a place that's truly fair and balanced, not just Fox News.
And I'm going to leave y'all with this as we begin to close past the Save America Act. Thank you very much. I did hear that the Senator Leader Thune has placed it on the schedule. I have to double check that. We'll get back to y'all on when that is going to be. But yes, hopefully we will see a standing filibuster take place so that the Save America Act is passed so that only citizens can vote and proof of ID citizenship will be required. Also, fund DHS. Thank you very much. Call your senators and your representatives and tell them to get their asses back to work.
We might need it now more than ever. Just saying.
Oh, for sure. Keep your head on a swivel, y'all. Pray for our service members and their families. And just trust the process. President Trump has us. He's got us.
What did Grandma say? What did the grandma at the White House say? Let him cook.
Let him cook. That's what Grandma said. Let him cook, baby. Let him cook.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
What do you do when the gas is high?